Let's move on to our third and final main topic today. And our third and final main topic today gets submitted to us by Jasur Ben, who writes, Deadline is reporting that Netflix is currently in talks with Louis Leterrier, who I have worked with, actually, director of The Incredible Hulk and Now You See Me, to take on the Bright sequel. Will Smith and Joel Edgerton are set to return as buddy cop duo. What do you think of the news? And do you think this is a necessary sequel? All right. Thanks for sending that in, man. And yes, for those of you who missed the news, it looks like it's a lockdown now. They are moving forward. We've thought for a while they would move forward with a Bright 2. But it now looks like everything is full steam ahead. This comes to us from Deadline, who writes, Netflix is negotiating with Leterrier to direct Bright 2, the sequel to the 2017 film that kicked off the streamer's feature film franchise launch aspirations. David Ayer directed the first film and was attached to direct the sequel, but he has been focused on rewriting to direct The Dirty Dozen for Warner Brothers, and he has other Netflix projects, and other projects at Netflix at the time. So, what do we think about Bright? Bright 2. Well, let's start with them doing a Bright 2. Meh. I have very little interest. I'll check it out because I quite frankly found the first Bright pretty poor. Now, I'll say this though. The world they created for the first Bright was incredibly imaginative. Like when the movie starts, it's just kind of setting up the world that the story's going to take in. I'll tell you what, Rob, I was drawn right into it. I was drawn in. I really did like this world. Imagine the world we live in, except there are orcs and fairies and whatever else. They happen to be just part of this world. Otherwise, it's the same world you know and live in. It was a wild idea and a great concept that I actually quite appreciated. Unfortunately, while I'm a big Will Smith fan and I love Joel Edgerton, the story they actually told was, I thought, very bland, and I walked out underwhelmed. So there are two things I knew. One, they'll probably do a sequel to this, and two, I'm probably not going to be very interested in it. But I got to say this. Leterrier is an interesting choice for it, though. When you look at his previous films and you look at what the first Bright was trying to do, it seems like, to me, it feels like a good match. I feel like this could be beneficial for the movie. Again, I'm not a big fan of the film itself, but he could be the right guy to do it. As a matter of fact, he very well could be the right guy. Rob, you hear about this. What do you think about this edition? And do you even think there's a need for a Bright 2? What do you think?
Well, like you, I have to say, I like the milieu. I like the world building that was in Bright. I did. I thought that I would like to have seen. I would like to have seen more of a juxtaposition of our real world kind of idea and the idea of this. It was a good. Look. I thought the movie was sort of a little half baked. I mean, the premise was good. It felt to me like Max Landis came up with this idea and wrote this script in like a couple of days and sold it for big money. And I thought the ideas were better. I mean, the execution was fine. It's just it ultimately, at the end of the day, the fantasy and the buddy cop element didn't elevate beyond what you might expect. I was hoping that the imagination would bubble over and I'd be getting something really, really groundbreaking, but that's not what I got. I think for Netflix at the time when they made it, it was 2 years ago now, 3 years ago?
2017.
So 3 years ago, it probably seemed for Netflix. Look, it was a successful film for Netflix. It was their first foray into paying stars big money. It cost a lot of money. Remember at the time, they're like, oh my God, they're going to spend like however many millions of dollars they spent on it. And it was watched, but I wanted it to be better. And I think that with Louis Leterrier, which I agree with you is an interesting choice, I think that this could be the Lethal Weapon 2, John, of the Bright franchise. I mean, Lethal Weapon 2, I love Lethal Weapon, but Lethal Weapon 2 really blew the doors off, and I think everyone loves Lethal Weapon 2, and maybe that's what this will be. I think that hopefully it'll be better. Are they going to be able to get back the original cast? I mean, I don't know, but we'll see.
I think that they are saying that the original cast is coming back. So they got Will Smith and Joel Edgerton coming back and all that kind of stuff. So it will be interesting to see. Question here is, guys, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good fit for a project director matchup? Are you interested? Maybe you like the first Bright. Like, what do you think about all this? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.